Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a TrisCraft Cup game from the group stages. This is going to be Group D, Round 3 between Cahrin and 20. And we're going to start the replay in 3, 2, 1, start. Go ahead and say hello, Callie.
Dig dogs and stinky frogs.
That is disgusting. Alright, so we have Cahrin here spawning as the yellow Terran, and we have Batomis, who is actually 20, spawning as the green Terran. Yes, it's going to be a Terran versus Terran, and it is on Scrap Station, so this should be very interesting. Scrap Station is a wonderful map. A lot of people say it's the best 1v1 map that they have released so far. It's really close air rush distances, so airplay is really viable on this map. It's actually one of the few maps that is not symmetrical. There is only one gold expansion. However, there are an even number of bases with this extra island expansion being right here. There is some lovely little banter going on between the two players. I believe this is the second game, so I'm not sure what happened in the first game. I will be casting that once I get it if I decide to. I'm just going to be casting a series of games. Never really seen this strategy before. I'm not really sure what he's doing. He built a second supply depot, I'm referring to 20, before the barracks at 12 food. So he's clearly not going to supply block himself, but I don't know, he's trying to complete a quick wall, and not really the most important thing to do against a Terran, and neither of them play random. Cahrin getting the pretty much standard gas on 13. Barracks obviously went down on 12. He also built that supply depot here. I'd really like to see that supply depot up here or here. Sometimes you can make a little wall of supply depots there, and then it prevents some kind of Reaper action from coming around behind the mineral line. It's actually pretty nice. So we have our scouts just meeting here in the middle. 20 deciding that he wanted to go give Cahrin little 5 minerals as a peace offering from his own base. Cahrin's SCV moved out a little bit earlier. You're probably going to see some harassment here. There it goes. It's always a risk whenever you leave that worker there. Cahrin got a little unlucky because 20's worker went in there intelligently. Man, another mineral on this worker here. It's almost like he thinks they do more damage when they're carrying those minerals. So 20's scout here going to make a huge pattern of holding position as Cahrin throws down his second gas. This is a really early second gas, which means it's probably going to give away the fact that he's going to be going for some mech or airplay. Of course, that's completely normal in Terran versus Terran. So despite the strange start, 20 has his barracks up. He's got one gas, got his second gas going down. He's actually got his factory coming out a little bit earlier than Cahrin. Cahrin has 2 Marines here that just took out those that scouting worker. Cahrin going to secure the Zelnaga watchtower. It's always great on this map because the distance from the watchtower to your base is so far that if something like a 4 racks Marine push came out and you had that watchtower secured, first of all, the only way to get there is to go by this watchtower. And then second, it's such a far distance from here to there that you could actually throw up a bunker and throw down a couple extra racks and defend yourself. So holding that watchtower is really key to the early stages of this game.
I really like doing those, getting some marauders out in this map and getting those rocks down in that path in the middle early. And if you can do that, you can somehow, sometimes surprise the enemy.
Yeah, against in a Terran versus Terran, I wouldn't say that's the most important thing to do because siege tanks being so immobile, the quick path to their base isn't going to be that big of a deal. I have no clue who that is. Could you go ahead and let them know that we're casting, Steve? Because I'm not actually talking in vent. So we have Cahrin here, throwing down his starport, getting the factory with the tech lab, lifting that off. Building another tech lab. This is something that Cahrin does. It's a nice play where he allows him to get Banshees out early, but then also immediately start his siege tank production because Cahrin loves his siege tanks. Got 20 here, trying to be a little sneaky with this starport. Kif's actually been listening in on this cast and gonna do a little friendly neighborhood booting. Thank you for that, Kift. Tech lab going down on this starport. Now, see, the funny thing is here is if either one of them scanned the other, they'd know exactly what's going on. And since 20's starport's a little bit behind, he should know to actually pump out a Viking first. And this scan goes down, and you can see that he does see that there's a tech lab here with that starport, which really can only mean that he went for a quick Banshee. If he was going for quick Vikings, there'd be no reason for that tech lab. And so what he should be doing here is making a Viking and saving up some scans in case he comes in with Cloak. But he doesn't do that, and we're probably going to see him take a hit here. Only one guy in gas, kind of a blunder, especially whenever you're playing in a Terran versus Terran. Gas is usually your limiting factor because once you get those siege tanks out, no matter how many Marines you make, you are not going to be able to break a line of siege tanks. And also throwing down a reactor here. I don't know if that's the best play. Okay, so Cahrin's moving in with his Banshee. He's got 7 Marines here. There's plenty to deal with it. Cahrin knows, though, he's doing a good job of pulling that Banshee back and hiding it. And here we go with 20's own little harassment. He's moving his Banshee over. Now, Cahrin has a lot more units right now. It just seems like his macro is a lot better at the moment. He's got this Banshee in the base already harassing. He doesn't have Cloak down, which I like. Against the Terran, it's so hit or miss if you have Cloak. These Marines are in larger numbers, and they're going to probably be doing a better job of defending, although Cloak is almost done. So, you know, you can see the little difference in the units that each player has. 20's going to commit more to a Cloak harassment. He's got this one Viking out, which is going to clean up that Banshee since it has no Cloak. 20's got this Banshee just waiting for that Cloak, which is done now. He should be moving in. The eBay is going up a little late. There is no energy on this orbital command. He could do a good amount of harassment with this Cloak. He is choosing not to do that. He's choosing to bring a Viking along with it. Okay, he's going in now. Hopefully that Cloak will go down right when he needs to. He's being a little too tentative with this Banshee. He had an advantage here, and he kind of gave it away. Yeah, there's the Cloak, and unfortunately Cahrin is only 50, he's only like 1 energy away, but he manages to get that Banshee out. It's actually good play. Noticing if he did, in fact, notice that there was a high energy on that command center. You don't want to wait for those Marines to get underneath you and just hope there's no Cloak. I like this placement of this turret. He's already seen that Cahrin had 1 Banshee, and if 20 is committing to an Air Force, this turret right here is actually going to deter any, prevention of that build. I would like to see some turrets again. There is one going down right here. Problem with Banshees is they have such a long range that you really need like a little triangle of 3 turrets to cover it, or at least a fair number of Marines. I would like to see with his macro maybe slipping a little bit, more Marines being pumped out and Tech Lab being added on, or maybe just, dropping a couple more barracks and going for Marauders. They're so, low on gas requirement that they can be really effective. So 20 is going to be moving around with this Air Force. Really, the most important thing that you need to remember about air units is that they're so weak and they're so, fragile that whenever you can manage to keep one alive, even if it's low health, you need to bring it back and repair it as soon as you can, and that's exactly what he's doing here. So that little difference between having 2.5 versus 3 Banshees might actually make or break a game. So Cahrin moving in here, the typical Terran versus Terran. I'm gonna siege up and just kind of barely get into your base tactic. I am horrible when it comes to Terran and moving siege tanks around. So my strategy generally revolves around. See this right here? That poor play on 20's part. I don't really blame him because it's so hard to just not attack with units whenever your front's getting barreled down. But what he really needs to do is micro these Banshees around, get these siege tanks killed, and then move in with your Marines. You want to keep those Marines alive because those Marines are going to be your anti-Viking force once you've taken out the siege tanks. So, interestingly, 20 decides to just fight right through these Marines. These tanks are really out of position. I really would have liked to see him pursue those.